Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? Well, the answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. When I started using Anchor to do my podcast, it was so extremely easy that I haven't even bothered to look for another app to use. I love this app. It's the only one I deal with, the only one I even recommend, period. I recommend you get on there ASAP. If you want to start a podcast, this is definitely the place to go. It's easy. You can drive around and record. You can sit in your basement and record. You can do it anywhere. It's fantastic. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start, anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Adam Rich from the Really Rich Podcast. And listen, I know that I've talked about this a few times, but I wanted to come at this from a different angle today because I really think it's extraordinarily important. But I just want to sink it in and hit home with the idea of putting literal your happiness and your mindset, your positivity and all that above just happiness in general, I guess, above money. And the reason why, and I know a lot of people hear that and they're just like, oh, fuck you, I need money, I want more money and all this stuff. And I understand that money is extraordinarily important no matter who you are in life. Having an abundance of money is always beneficial. But I cannot begin to express and explain to you how many fucking people I know have tons of money that are miserable as shit in their life. And they all say the exact same damn thing. It's no matter how much money they have, there's never a dollar amount where they all of a sudden reach that point of where they think they're going to be happy. Have you honestly sat and thought about this? About the amount of money it would take you to officially declare that you are happy. And not just say that you're fucking happy, to actually be happy, to enjoy your life, to walk around every day smiling, to walk around every day with appreciation for what you have, to be excited for every day, even fucking Monday, dude. If you wake up on Monday morning and you're happy, it is never because you have a lot of money. It's never has anything to do with that. I've never in my entire existence heard or read about or seen a video on anybody that loves Monday because they're rich. And I don't mean rich like my name. I mean rich, money-wise, wealthy. There's literally nobody on the fucking planet has ever woke up on a Monday morning and said, thank God it's Monday. I don't care what day it is. I love all of them because I'm rich. Nobody does that. If they say that, they're just saying it. Nobody actually feels that way. Like I've seen in movies or whatever where somebody wakes up and they're like, every day's a great day because I got money. Like, yeah, okay, cool. But think about what really matters to you in life and what actually would make you sad. Think about this. Not what makes you happy. Fuck all that. Think about what in life would make you sad. Not angry, not bitter, not mean or resentful or hateful. What would make you sad? Like literally sad for, I'm talking days. I'm not talking about watching a Sarah McLachlan commercial where all they adopt a puppy. I'm not talking about seeing, a mom and her daughter enjoying a nice day and it's a beautiful image of a mom and her daughter. I'm talking about actual fucking sadness. What would have to happen to you in life for you to just break down and be a fucking train wreck? And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to swear so much, but I'm just saying, like, it's important that you grasp what I'm actually talking about. I'm not talking about waking up and your coffee didn't taste right, so you're a little sad about that. Or that you're, I don't know, that you're running late for work. Or that, you know, like, one of your friends, like John Witherspoon just passed away. I love John Witherspoon. I think he's incredible. And it didn't make me sad to the point where I was like bawling and in tears about it, but I was like, damn, man, that sucks, dude. Because I liked him. And obviously everybody gets old, everybody has their time and they pass and all that. It's coming to every one of us. No, not one of us is beyond it or above it. But I'm talking, what would actually have to happen to you in life to make you fucking really sad, like depressed, break down, be in a dark place? What would have to happen? A family member pass away? Somebody super close? Losing your job? Losing your best friend? Somebody cheating on you in a relationship? Like, what would have to happen? You getting demoted? A dog, you have to put your dog down? What would it take to get you to the fucking edge to where you are just distraught? Super down and just in a funk to where you don't know how long it would take to get out of. Think about that shit, dude. It's very, very, very important. If you understand the things that you have in your life that make you happy, meaning the fact that you aren't missing them would make, like, if you were to miss those things, if those things were gone, what would destroy you, dude? Like, maybe you've lost a parent. Maybe you have both your parents. Imagine how sad would it make you to lose your parent? How sad would it make you to lose a child, to lose a loved one, to have to put your pet down? How sad would it make you to lose your job? Like, if you love your job and then somebody, they just come up and go, hey, sorry, we're letting people go. You're one of them. Like, what in your life? Imagine this. And here's a reason why I want you to imagine that. Put yourself there for a minute. Think about that shit. If you are not there currently, if you don't already feel that way, but you know something that would put you in that part, in that place, then what you should be doing immediately is thinking about the fact that you have those things in your life, that you haven't lost those things, that you haven't had to lose it, or that you had to give it up, or that you had to stop. Maybe it's your dream, maybe it's your passion. Maybe you started up a business, or you're trying to, and you're really invested and you're super pumped about it, but it's just not going anywhere. Maybe you feel like you're really good at something, so you started doing it, and all of a sudden, you know, you're a year or two in, and all of a sudden you realize, this ain't for me, it's not going to happen. Like, what would it take for you to be just destroyed mentally? And I want you to think about this. I want you to really fully grasp this, and because there's one major reason why. Because if you think about the things that you would have to lose in order to be that sad, then you should be thinking equally about what it is that you have that's keeping you from not being that fucking sad. In other words, those things that you have are the things that actually bring you happiness. People don't tie the two together. You might think to yourself, man, if my mom or dad died, that would be terrible. What you don't think about is the fact that because they're still alive, it brings you joy. You might not think about it every minute of every day. And I'm not saying you should or that you need to or anything like that. What I'm saying is maybe once a day for 5-10 minutes, maybe think about that. Think about what it is in your life that you have that's keeping you away from sadness, that's keeping you away from resent. Because there's a lot of people, listen, that lose something. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a thing, maybe it's a job, maybe it's a house, a car, anything. When somebody loses something, sometimes certain people lose something and they start resenting the people that haven't lost it. And listen, that's a very negative, dark, shitty place to be, dude. If you're actively mad at other people or rooting against them because they have something you don't, you're in a bad place. And you need to get yourself out of that. It's not, think about this, man. There's an abundance of literally fucking anything, of everything. Just because somebody else has something doesn't mean that you can't have it, or that you can't have something just like it or equal to it. Like, I know some of you are probably thinking, well, if somebody's dating a girl or dating a guy and I want that person, then I can't have that person. You're right. You shouldn't, and you shouldn't want that person because that person is taken. What you should want is somebody that's like that. Like, I heard a Chris Rock stand-up one time, and it was perfectly said. He said the difference between guys and girls, especially in relationships, and I'm not saying this applies to everybody, so don't fucking backlash and just shit coming at me like, oh, this isn't true. You're a fucking liar. Some people, okay? Let's just chalk it up for what it is. There's not one thing that applies to every single person. But this is what he said, and this is back in the fucking late 90s, early 2000s, I believe. He said, the difference between girls and guys is like this. If a guy sees, meets his buddy's new girlfriend, and he meets her and she's nice and she's funny and she's pretty and all that stuff, a guy will look at her and he'll be like, man, she's really cool. She's really nice. I want a girl like that. Not her, but I want a girl like that. Meaning, you're not going to try to get your boy's girl, and not a good friend at least. Shitty people do that, but a good friend is never going to go after his boy's girlfriend. But Chris Rock said, and this is Chris Rock's words, so don't fucking be mad at me about this, but Chris Rock said, the difference is a girl will meet her girlfriend's new man, and she'll go, man, he's a really great guy, he's really funny, I want him. not I want somebody like him, I want him. And they'll go after him. They'll go after their own best friend's dude, because they think that if there's one decent guy that they meet, that there's only fucking one of them. Anyway, he goes on this whole spiel. And all I'm saying is, I'm not saying every person in the world is like that. I'm not saying all guys are like this and all girls are like that. So don't, fucking hit me with the civil rights shit or whatever. But the point is, what I'm trying to say is, if you are actively jealous and envious of somebody because of something they have, and it's a good friend of yours especially, you're in a bad place. Stop being jealous for what other people have. Stop going after what they have and find a way to get your own. Get your own version. You should look at these people that have these things as inspiration, not out of jealousy about trying to take their shit. If a person moves in next door to you and they pull up and they got a fucking Ferrari, you don't steal their Ferrari. You try to ask them like, hey, what do you do, man? What do you do for a job? Because I want to be like that, or I want to own that. I want to. You don't think to yourself, fuck him, I'm stealing his car. You're not going to try to steal your neighbor's car. Where are you going to put it? You're going to put it right next door? So, like, you should treat everything in life like this. You should be like, listen, if you see that somebody has something, don't be jealous and envious and try to take it from them or take it away from them or end the time that they have with it. Think to yourself, damn, that's an inspiration. I want to talk to that person and find out what they did to get that, and then maybe I can make adjustments in my life to do the same. And when it comes to money, this is fucking huge, dude. There are so many people in life that they'll see people have money and they'll just hate on them. They'll just start talking shit, and they'll just be trying to trash that person like that person's a failure. Like, you know how many poor people are pissed off, want socialism purely because they want to have, like, they see a rich person and they're like, they have too much money. They don't need all that money. I deserve some. Well, why do you deserve to take that person's money? Like, what did you do to earn that money? Like, because if a person has a lot of money, even if they won the lottery and they don't deserve it, even if they're the biggest piece of shit on the planet and they just happen to hit the lottery and now they're a fucking billionaire, you don't deserve that money. And I'm not saying that person does either, but they won it. It's their fucking money. I don't deserve it just because they have more than I do. Instead of asking how you can take their money, figure out how you can also get that money or get more money. There is no one way to skin a cat. It's not like the only way to make a lot of money is to win the lottery. So, and think about it. If you're going to use that example, like the lottery thing, and go, oh, well, I can't just win the lottery just because, yeah, sure. But 99.99999% of people don't win the lottery. Not to that extent. Not to that kind of money. So don't be jealous of what they have and try to take it or try to do shortcuts to get it. Just figure out what works for you in life. And this is why I always say personally, fuck the money. Figure out what makes you happy and focus 100% on that. If you can't sit there, listen, if you believe in your own head that, well, money's what makes me happy, you're fucking lost. You're already done. It's a wrap for you. If your primary source of happiness and your goal is more money, you've already fucking lost. And I'll tell you why. Because you will do everything in your power to be cheap, not spend money when you don't have to. And you'll do everything in your power to take and earn and grab more money whenever you can. And there is no end result. If you make 10 grand, you're not going to stop at 10. You're going to want more than 10. You're like, fuck it, I want 20, 25, I want 50. Once you hit 50, you're like, damn, I want to double that. I want to hit 100 grand. Once you hit 100 grand, you want 200, 250, 500,000. Then you want 1 million. Once you hit 1 million, nobody stops. That's the fucking point. That's why I am so desperate to hit home with this happiness shit that I'm talking all the time, because it's fucking real. It is literally for real. If you focus on what makes you happy and stop giving a shit about the money, focus on what makes you happy, capitalize on that, and money will come, dude. And listen, even if it doesn't, even if you don't get a ton, say you want 200 grand a year, it's not even a necessity, but say that's what you want. And say you don't get 200 grand a year. Say you never reach 200 grand a year. If you do what you love to do every day, you're not going to care about the money. That's what people don't get. If you are happy, you're not, listen, think about the contradictory thing here. In order to be happy means that you're not worried. It means that you're not sad. It means that you're not panicked. You're not angry. You're not hateful. If you're happy, you're fucking happy. You're good. You're content. You're smiling. Who the fuck is smiling and happy and content but worried about anything? Especially money. Nobody, dude. It doesn't happen. By default, dude, the definition of happiness is to not be all those other things. So if you're happy, you don't give a fuck about the money. But if you're rich, you could still be upset and miserable. Look at Robin Williams, dude. I use Robin Williams as the gold standard when I talk about this shit, because I loved Robin Williams and I thought he was phenomenal. Everyone loved him. Everyone thought he was funny. He was famous. He had money. Everywhere he went, people loved him. They wanted to talk to him. They wanted to be around him. He was super loved and super famous and super rich, and he took his own life. Who would do that if they're genuinely happy? Unless there was some kind of mental issue that it was at hand, obviously. And if there's a mental issue, then you need to focus on getting that fixed. That should be priority number one, because it's going to be very difficult to be happy in life when you have a mental condition that keeps you from being happy. So if you know that you're just always miserable or always depressed, please go see a doctor, go see a psychiatrist or something, talk to your family, talk to your friends, try to verbalize this and get this shit out, get that poison out, that toxic shit out. And if it's an illness that you can't control, a doctor will recommend something, whether it be therapy or medicinal things. Regardless, that shit should be taken care of number one. If you eliminate the mental issue that could be causing you to not have happiness, if you eliminate that off the table, now you can really focus on actively trying to pursue your happiness. Whatever that is. If that means bowling every Tuesday and Thursday, go do that. If that means singing karaoke at the bar on Saturday nights, go do that. If it means making quilts in your spare time while watching Oprah, go fucking do that. But number one, dude, take care of what makes you happy. Worry about the fucking money shit later, dude. People are so wrapped up in, how can I make more? I seen on TV, Kim Kardashian has all this money and has all these cool things and goes on all these cool vacations. That's what I want. Okay, well then, what you're saying you want is you want your mom to be Kris Jenner. That's what you want. Or Kris Card. I'm sorry. Wait. Kris Card. Damn, now I'm getting it all fucked up. Kris Kardashian, right? Kris Kardashian or Jenner? Fuck, I don't even know anymore. But the point is, If you're watching somebody on TV and you want what they have, you have to work for that. You can't just grow up in their family. Okay, you can't just have you can't just have Bill Gates' money because you didn't invent Microsoft. You didn't make Windows 95. So figure out what the fuck makes you happy first. Worry about the whole money garbage shit later, dude. Just live within your means, live just enough to survive and save your money. If money is that damn important to you, then save everything you get. Stop buying dumbass shit like new Jordans, new fucking jerseys, every damn CD that comes out, every fucking movie on Blu-ray. If you don't need it or absolutely just desperately love something, stop buying it. Because all you're doing is you're keeping up with the Joneses. If you buy every fucking pair of Jordans, please find me a reason why you need them. Not want them, need them. And if it has anything to do with your looks or how you look to somebody else or the opinions of others, you're fucking done. You've already lost. You got to stop living for other people. Stop wanting more money because other people see that you have a nice car or a nice fucking house. Nobody gives a shit. You know how many people in the world have bigger houses than me? A lot. And I don't give a fuck about any of them having bigger houses than me. I don't care. Good for them. I'm working on my own shit. I'm extremely happy in life. I'm extremely happy with my family. I'm extremely happy where I live and the cars I drive and everything. I'm not trying to chase money. I've never. And it's weird for me because I was born where that was a fucking huge priority from day one for my mom and dad. Do not worry about money. Never worry about money. Stop focusing on money. Stop loving money. If you love money the way other people do, then you'll lose the way they do. If you stop worrying and focusing on money, you'll win while they lose. That was enforced in me from a fucking birth, basically. So for me, it's very foreign to think highly of money the way most people do. Now, granted, do I want money? Do I need to buy shit? Of course, dude. I'm not sitting there saying I'd love to live in a box and be broke forever. What I'm saying is stop valuing money for expenses on things. Stop feeling like you need to go to that extra vacation or buy that extra home in fucking Cali or buy that fancy brand new car just because it's new and nobody has it yet. In 5 years, 100,000 people are going to have that damn car. Nobody's going to give a shit that you have it or that you were first. It's stop wasting your time and effort focusing on shit that does not matter and buying and selling or buying garbage that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter, and it's just it's bringing you back a step. You're taking steps back when you do this, and it's really hurtful towards you and your happiness in the future. And the big thing is that nobody even wants to really think about or talk about is like think about everything you've ever, I mean, obviously you can't think of all of them, but think about all the shit you bought in your life. That 99% of it is either thrown away or sold off at some point or just given away to somebody. Like most things that you buy in life are just basically to get you by for a certain period of time. Like you buy a brand, like even I remember buying Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega Dreamcast, Sega, like every Sega there was, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, You buy all these. Well, think about it, like now. So if I even play video games, it's going to be on mostly either a PC or sometimes I'll drop a PS4 if I can, or throw down some Red Dead Redemption or whatever on PS4. I never play fucking PS3, 2, 1, anything that's ever come out before it. And even if I did, like play, I don't know, say Nintendo, right? It would be nostalgia. It would be, or a nostalgic thing. It would be, I would probably play for, I don't know, maybe a couple hours one day, and then I probably wouldn't touch the Nintendo again for a year. It's not like all those things that I bought all those years, they like don't mean anything now. And listen, I'm not saying don't buy anything that you like or anything like that. Like, listen, if you love something or you really, really like need to have something, it's a different story. I'm not telling you don't buy anything. What I'm saying is if you don't feel like you absolutely need it, if you don't feel like it's beneficial or you desperately need that high-end model of something or those expensive, shoes or clothing, like, what are you doing, dude? You don't need to waste money on shit like that. And so what I'm saying is if you don't need to spend all that extra money, save some of that extra money. That will lead you to being, like, being wealthier. Not necessarily wealthy, but wealthier. Having more money. And so it will allow you to spend time and energy and money on doing other shit that you actually like, or being able to save money so you can make a bigger purchase at some point. You don't need to keep making more and more and more and more and more money so you can have nicer and nicer and nicer shit. That's not even necessary, dude. Like, I couldn't even begin to explain to you, like, sometimes I know I may sound angry, and I'm just trying to be, like, get my point across. It's not, trust me, I'm never, like, mad when I do this, but it's usually, like, it blows my mind how many people aren't thinking the right way when it comes to where their priorities are in life. And, like, dude, it's so funny to me because everyone I know that's, like, super fucking greedy or super concerned about money, like, all they care about is having more money and how can they get more money and all this stuff. Every single one of them I've ever talked to, I've asked, what is more important to you? To have an infinite amount of happiness in your life? Like, you're always happy, you're always smiling, you're always positive, you're always in a great mood, you're always living the dream, all that shit. Or having an infinite amount of money. And every fucking greedy person I know, every person that just loves money like it's the be-all, end-all of everything in life, every one of them says the same shit. Oh, I want infinite happiness. I want more happiness. I'd love to be happy all the time. But yet none of them live like that. Almost nobody lives putting their well-being, I don't want to say your well-being, but almost nobody puts happiness before the love for money. Listen, I couldn't tell you how many times that I've been at work and they've offered, hey, do you want to work the weekend, or do you want to stay a 12-hour day today to make overtime? Do you know how many, and when I was younger, I used to just eat that shit up every chance I got. But as I've gotten older, as I've learned to love my time off more and more and more, so I can spend it doing anything else, it's amazing how much I've turned down the money just to enjoy my life. And before, it was never, like, I've never worked the as a matter of fact, when I started there, when I was working all the overtime, it was more to make a name for myself and show them my work ethic. It was to show them, like, I'll work whenever you need me. I'll be here whenever you need me. Mainly just so I could prove to them that I was a good worker, that I was smart, that I was learning stuff, and I'm more than happy to spend my time there, just so they would promote me, so I could move up and up and up. And it wasn't I know what you're thinking, that sounds like you want to make more money. No, the money comes with the promotion, but the promotions that I wanted was purely about me moving up to get better positions in work. And it was never about the money. You can think that all you want, but it was never, oh, I want to move up so I can make more money. It was, I want to move up so I can have this type of a job. It was always about the well-being and my happiness. It was always about, if I go to work and I'm doing this type of job, I would like it a lot more than the one that I'm currently doing. So therefore, it was, if I can just keep moving up and up and up, then I can have the better jobs that I like. It has nothing to do with the fucking money. And yes, the money does come with that, but the reality, but I'll prove it. In one of my one of my meetings, I told them, or one of our interview, like, it was to get to this one position. They were down to the final 3. I was one of the 3 that was applying for this position at work. And they told me something about, do you have any questions, or about the wage and all that stuff? And I purely asked, I said, what kind of, like, how would it affect? Because I was talking about moving from the production floor where you're out in the factory getting dirty and nasty to moving into an office job. So I knew that everything was going to be different. And I asked them, I said, well, does the position mean more money, less money, same what? And they said, well, no, it would just be a lateral move. You'd make the same amount of money. And I said, cool, I'm in. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't want to make less just because of how my bills were, but if I needed to, I would have gladly made less. It depends on the money. I'll be honest. It would have depended. Like, if I'm making 20 an hour and they said, no, we're going to drop you down to 14. No, I can't. Well, listen, I have bills that I'm fucking paying now. I can't just all of a sudden minus $6 an hour or whatever because not with the bills I had. Now, great, I could have sold a bunch of shit. I know what you're thinking. And you're right. I could have. I didn't want to. because I loved the way my life was. But never did I worry about, well, shit, I can't, I'm not going to take this position because I want to make more money. I didn't give a fuck. I told the guy flat out in there that if it meant taking $1 or $2 pay cut, I would still be in. I just can't take $5, $6, $7 pay cut. There's no way. I just couldn't afford it at the time. I'd have to fucking move back home with my parents and all that, and I didn't want to because I was happy. Now, would I have for the position? Man, it's hard to say, dude. I mean, maybe because I really wanted the position. I didn't get it. It went to some other guy that knew CAD and the position had nothing. The position was like for a cost estimator, like to estimate costs on products and shit. And this other dude knew CAD, the computer animation design, animated design, whatever the hell it is, animated something. And I was like, that has nothing to do with it. But here's what they didn't want to admit at the time that this was going on. I was working out on the production floor, meaning I was one of like 10 guys per shift. And that same week that they were making the decision, they moved me up in the front office for one day to train to see how I did. They even, after all three of us did the training, the human resource manager, the woman pulled me in the office, and she flat out told me to my face, "You are the most qualified person to do it. However, at this time, we need to go in this direction with this guy." I think his name was Ethan at the time, who doesn't even work there anymore anyway. Doesn't even fucking work there. So, and they told me, they said, yeah, but Ethan's only going to be doing this position. He's got 2 more years until he'll get his degree, and then we're going to move him from that department over into the engineering department. Dude, cost estimating and engineering have nothing to do with each other. We're talking, this guy's going to school for CAD, learning how to design dies, cut them, shape them, and all that shit. And yet this guy was going, and this guy was going to school for that shit. And then they gave him the position for cost estimating. And listen, anybody who knows me very well knows I'm pretty fucking tits when it comes to math. And that's not, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but sometimes if you don't toot your own horn, there ain't any music. So if you didn't hear me talk about my math skills, who the hell would never know? So no, I'm just joking. I'm not trying to fluff myself here. But the point is, cost estimating would have been right up my alley, is all I'm trying to say. Would I have been the best at it? Probably not. But the point is, they straight up told me after my day of training up there that I was the most qualified. The guy that was in the position that was training me, named Jason, he liked me the best out of all 3 people, but they gave the position to somebody else. And I was like, how do you tell somebody that they're the most qualified and then give it to somebody else knowing that in 2 years you're moving them anyway? Because they told me, they were like, in 2 years he's going to get his engineering degree, then we're going to move him over to engineering, and we think you should apply again then. And I straight up looked at her and I said, well, if I'm the most qualified, why the fuck would you give it to somebody else? And they said, well, because he's got CAD. He's got CAD experience. And I said, what the hell does that have to do with that position? And they said, well, we like people to know in case a customer runs into an engineering issue. But the guy, Jason, that was in the department told me if there was ever that scenario, you just take a print over to, or the information, like the design, the print, the sheet of paper that shows the shape and the dimensions and all that stuff. They said you take the print over to engineering and tell them exactly what the customer's asking for, and then engineering will draw it up because they do all the CAD work. So I was confused. I'm like, I don't understand where you're going with this. This guy is clearly, he's not going to be in that position in 2 years. I'm looking to do that full time. I don't give a fuck how long I'm doing it. I like the idea of that way more than the job I was doing. And I said, it doesn't make any sense to me. And they said, well, when he moves, just apply again and all that. Don't take it personally. It's not you. You did fine. It's just we'd like you to have a little more CAD. And I said, well, then why don't you put me in the position and I'll go to school starting today or as soon as possible and learn CAD. I'll learn that if I have to, if that's what you want me to do. And they said, I'm sorry, we already went in this direction. He already knows he's getting the position. I was like, fuck, dude. And it just like blew me away. I was like, I don't get it. I told you I would even take a fucking pay cut if I needed to, $1 or $2. I told you that I'm more than happy to do the position. I like the position. The guy that's in the position now liked me the most out of the 3 of us. And you just flat out told me to my face that I'm the most qualified, yet you're giving it to somebody else. I don't get this. I don't understand. So then I walk out of the office. I'm, back to my job, and I'm just like, I'm confused and kind of pissed because I'm like, you guys make no fucking sense. You just told me I'm the best guy for the job, but you're giving it to somebody else. It doesn't make any sense. Well, then turns out that week, 2 people that were in the production department, granted they were on another shift, but they were in the same department as me. 2 people that week that they were hiring for that position, 2 people that week were quitting. So now you got 2 people in my department that were no longer going to be there, and we had 0 people to replace them. So there was no way they were going to take me also out of that department and move me to a different department. So now you're down 3 people instead of just those 2 guys. So I realized it's all fucking politics, dude. It's all, hey, we can't afford to take you off the floor, off the production floor. So sorry, we gave it to somebody else who's less qualified and who does the job worse and who doesn't even want to do it in the next 2 years. We gave it to that person because we can't afford to take you off the floor. So basically, because I did too good of a job in one other field, I got fucked from doing something I actually wanted to do, and they gave it to somebody who wasn't even as qualified just because. And I was like, dude, you guys are, fuck you. You know what I mean? And so I realized, don't worry about shit that you can't control. Don't worry about outside forces. Don't worry about dollar signs, the money that may or may not come. Worry about doing what you like that's going to make you happy. The money shit won't even fucking matter. I know that was a long-winded story to basically just circle back around to what I'm saying, but I wanted to give you a very good example about like how I've dealt with that and how I look at the money situation. It's never been about money for me. It never has been, and hopefully, I pray to God it never will be. But it's all about focusing on what you love and trying to do more of it. I wanted the position, not the money. The money's cool too. I'll gladly take more money, but it's never been about the money. It's been about how will you live your life, and will you be happy doing it? That job would have been infinitely better, and maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe somebody was looking out for me and said, you know what, that job maybe you would have gotten fired. Maybe you would have started, because the job, I would have started a different time, like a time of day. I would have been on day shift again and at different hours. Maybe it would have led to me getting into a fatal car accident. I have no fucking clue what would have happened. There's a million reasons why I didn't get that job. However, it was always about the position, not the money. And that's what your life should be based on. What is going to make you live happier, not what's going to make you more fucking money. That's all I wanted to get across to people. And I hope that this hits home with somebody. I hope that somebody really reevaluates their priorities and what matters to them. I'm rushing home right now to so I can see my wife and my daughter, instead of going out and working on something or making more money or whatever, or selling something or doing this, because I want to spend time with my fucking family. You know what I mean? That matters to me infinitely more than me buying a fancier car or a fancier house or going on a nicer trip or an extra one or whatever. And that kind of shit should matter to you too. Your life. You only have so much time on this earth. Spend it as happy as you possibly can. Find out what you like, what you're into. And listen, first and foremost, before I forget, even if what you love the most, even if you think it's weird and you think other people will make fun of you for it, fuck everyone else. It doesn't matter. You're not living for them. You're living for you. I mean, if you're married and you have children, obviously think about them. You know, don't be so selfish. You're only concerned with yourself. But my point is, if you playing fucking hacky sack every day, it makes you happy and other people are going to laugh at you, F the F out of those people. Who cares what they think? Enjoy it. Enjoy playing hacky sack. Enjoy playing ping pong. Enjoy knitting quilts. Enjoy basket weaving. Enjoy dancing alone in front of your mirror when nobody's home. Or even in front of people. Who gives a fuck what anyone else thinks or says? Everyone is into something. Everyone has one thing about them, at least one thing about them that everyone thinks is fucking weird and strange. Nobody gives a shit, dude. At the end of the day, we all have to deal with that. So worry about you. Do what makes you happy. Stop worrying about money. Focus on literally being happy and having a fucking smile on your face as often as possible. Because you only got one life to live. Don't waste it living for other people. Helping others is a good thing, but living for them, living the life they want you to live, is never a good idea. That's all the time I got, guys. I love you so much. Thank you for listening. If you want to get a hold of me, please, through the Anchor app, you can leave me voice messages. If you want to get a hold of me on Instagram, it's Really Rich Podcast. If you want to get a hold of me on Twitter, it's Really Rich Adam. You can get a hold of me, or you can look up YouTube. You can find my podcast on YouTube, or maybe you're listening on YouTube, I don't know. But YouTube, you can get a hold of me at Snapchat. Both YouTube and Snapchat, the name is Really Rich. Spelled just like it should be, you know. And then, on LinkedIn, please, guys, find me on LinkedIn. I try to get a hold of everyone. I talk to everyone. I'm trying, not for myself, but for all of us. I'm trying to get a community going where we're all talking and hanging out, or, you know, even hanging out. Yeah, fuck it. Hanging out, talking, communicating, socializing, building real fucking friends, real relationships, man. I want to be involved in all of that. So find me on LinkedIn. It's Adam Rich. You'll see it. Founder and host of Really Rich Podcast. I love you guys so much, and I thank you for listening. I got to go. Sorry to rush. Peace. I'm out of here.